The Model 1891 was, of course, adopted by the Tsar's forces, but then it became the symbol of Soviet communism.
There are a lot of firearms that are somewhat misnamed in our hobby of collecting guns. The Bergman's a Schmeiser, the Schmeiser's a Bergman, so on and so forth. In the case of the Mosin Nagant, it's been a war that's gone on for a century and a quarter over its proper name. It actually ended up as a court battle at one point in Russia, but today's collectors, today's writers, call the model of 1891 three-line rifle the Mosin Nagant.
The Russians decided back in the 1890s that it was time to modernize their military. So they turned one of their own, Captain Sergei Mosin, who was ably assisted by Belgian Leon Nagant, to produce a bolt-action military rifle. And this resulted in the 1891 Mosin Nagant rifle. It was chambered for a very, very effective 7.62 by 54R cartridge, which basically had ballistics similar to a 30-06.
So the original Mosin Nagants had a couple of interesting features. So the first thing was that they were outfitted with a really extraordinarily long 31-inch barrel. And these were topped again with a 17-inch cruciform bayonet on top of that. So they were extremely long, extremely cumbersome arms. One of the other notable features is that the rear sights on these early Mosin Nagants have this unique kind of curved profile, and when you look at the markings on them, they're actually marked in distances that reference the archaic Russian arshin, which was the designation for a pace of about 28 inches. And these are highly rare features because, again, most Mosin Nagants were updated later to a rear sight that had metric designations.
It's interesting to note that a gun that was primarily manufactured in Russia almost caused a serious economic crisis in the United States that involved the Remington's Arms Company and the Westinghouse Electric Company to almost put them into receivership and bankruptcy. Because in 1915, Tsar Nicholas II of Russia had gone into contract negotiations with both Remington and Westinghouse to produce 1.5 million rifles each for the Russian government. And by the October of 1917 revolution, the contracts were canceled by the Bolsheviks. Russia, the Tsar, never paid on the 500,000 number of guns that he'd already taken delivery on. And if it wasn't for the United States government stepping in to purchase the contract from Remington and Westinghouse, they would have both gone belly up as a result of the Russian Revolution.
Ultimately, today when you think about the Mosin Nagant, and when most people see Mosin Nagants, they're thinking of the M9130 pattern. Now, these guns have been updated in a lot of ways. They have a rounded receiver instead of a hexagonal receiver. They have a barrel that's been shortened a couple of inches. And there's been a few little minor internal changes as well. The magazine spring is now fixed to the floor plate. But this is overwhelmingly the design of the Mosin Nagant that has survived into the present era. And so when you look at the M1891, it's an echo from Tsarist Russia that we don't often get to see today.